Good morning and welcome to Principals Briefing for weekend in Friday 11th of June. I thought it was very important just to catch up and update you on a return to school this week, to share some information that we've discussed with students across assemblies and in lessons, and to start to give you a look towards September 21 and the type of changes we've been working on and that we're implementing as we hopefully move away from the restrictions of the pandemic. So I think it's appropriate that we start with safety. We've talked to the students this week around our system of controls. Many things, if not all things, stay in place. You may remember just before the break, we removed the nature of face coverings within lessons, but they do remain a requirement in all other settings, except our classrooms. As I'll discuss later in the briefing, we now have a little bit more movement across the site with some of the setting and grouping that we've done, particularly around the core subjects. So we're keeping a close eye on everything. We're working with Public Health and with DLA to watch the data, particularly with a view to our area and our postcodes and where people live. And we'll continue to review that as we move towards the roadmap announcements from government on the 21st. We have been made aware that there's a significant increase in infections around the Delta variant, but that increase is coming from a low base because Cheshire had managed things, particularly in the last few months, incredibly effectively. It is highly transmissible from the information that we've got. You will see, like me, from mainstream media that many northwest areas around Lancashire and Greater Manchester are currently being affected. And I'm aware of, again, a little creep in terms of bubbles being sent home and students being sent home when infections have come into the school environment. So we'll watch that very carefully. We'll go back to our initial methods of communication and be informing people very quickly, both affected and unaffected by any changes. We'll just keep you in the picture. But if you could just remind your child, as we are doing, to make sure their coverings are on when they're on corridors, classrooms exempt, corridors, canteen, and any communal spaces. Okay, let's look at the main business of coming to school. So we've started to engage with the students now on the work we've been doing behind the scenes to get knowledge around the gaps, the learning gaps that we're being made aware of from national data and from our data, and what we are doing about it. So just a couple of quick slides that we've shown the students this week. So I'm going to share with you what they've already seen and what we've discussed. There was an EPI report, some research earlier in the week released to us, which gives a sort of outline of what we know. We assume from our assessments around an impact on learning, but it's interesting to see it in research. So 40,000 plus students in the study, mainly around Key Stage 2 into early Key Stage 3 ages. But you can see 6 to 9 month average loss reading age, 4 to 9 month average loss in maths. So it's confirming in research what we know. So it's about how we tackle that then. Under the banner of recovery, which is, you'll hear that from us and you'll hear that nationally in terms of an education strategy, we break it down into three things. And I'm going to talk to you in detail about the whole school approaches, but certainly touch on the targeted academic support. These three things are the structure of our recovery plan. It's worth picking out these four, I think, in terms of teaching and learning. So we are increasing the amount of literacy opportunities across all our lessons, regardless of the learning setting that they are in. And looking at some whole school and very targeted reading strategies. So again, getting the balance right between really driving reading through the whole school and then targeting it on where the gap for a young person is significant. And then in terms of what we should see everywhere, we know that low stakes quizzing, so the retrieval aspects of our lessons, particularly at the start of a lesson, are significant in terms of making knowledge solid with a young person. And we'll see this in the teaching and learning model across all our subjects. Slightly different depending on subject, but as a structure, it should look and feel the same to every child in the school. We've done a lot on that this week with students. It'd be great if you could talk to your child about that, what they've seen this week, their experience of quizzing, the impact it's had on them and how they feel about it, because that's what I'll be doing in school with all the student teaching and learning groups. Okay, let's look ahead to September very quickly. We talked to the students about these 5 things this week, and I think it's absolutely worth sharing with you. Coming out of the pandemic, hopefully, we've certainly started now to roll out the changes and the developments that we've been working on. So we are starting to grow our teacher base again. It has been a couple of years where that has been slightly tighter, but already we've recruited significantly across the maths department, and we've already introduced new teachers in drama, science, English, and in languages. So already some of those students who were very, very talented trainees have stayed with us and got some employment with us from September. So growing the teacher base is a huge investment in teaching and learning across the school. Now, behind the scenes, the senior team and some of the trustees and trust leaders have been discussing the changes we make to the school day. I'm about to roll that out as a consultation to families. I think, again, under recovery, we need to look at the length of the school day. We need to look at the length of lessons and how we structure a given school week, so that we do catch up with the learning gaps. We do have time to focus in a deeper way on our literacy and numeracy, and we also have time for staff training, because that is, again, another dynamic within this that factors into the type of day we need to have. So changes to the school day consultation on the way out to you. We're making changes to our building and our classrooms, and it's really the building aspects that I'm talking about first. As you know, if you've been to our site, it's a huge building, a huge landscape to manage. So we're just looking again at how we change the shape of that a little bit to make it more effective in terms of movement around the building and how faculties and subjects are grouped together. We are building on our partnerships, so better curriculum choices for GCSE. We're currently doing a very exciting piece of work with UTC to make them our preferred partner at 16 to develop some of the, certainly for engineering courses, and working with us on our GCSE courses. So a really strong partnership emerging with them. And importantly, we are investing in new ICT kit for teachers and classrooms. It's about time our learning environments had a bit of a reboot with some of our kit, and that will make a real difference to your child's, each and every one of your child's lessons as we go through the day. Okay, I thought it was important just to share a couple of things, because this has been obviously an extended conversation with the children in assembly and in their lessons this week. We've discussed teaching and learning, we've discussed ethos, reward, recognition, and everything else that the staff are working on behind the scenes to make education for children in our school even better. School feels exciting, and it's energized again, you know, with new settings. I'm sure your child is back in their option groups, are in now in sets and groups that are new to them, and those adaptations, you know, bring into focus that we've done a lot of work on safety and continuity of education, but it's now shifting firmly back towards getting some real precision into the quality of their education. So it's a really good time within school. As usual, there's a lot happening with us. I'll try and get some information out as we go through this term. As I've said, the consultation around the school day will probably be the first thing, so really look forward to your views on that. Apart from that, have a good weekend. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. You know where we are if you need to ask us any questions, and I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you.